Hello, hi, welcome to the Angie Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I mean everything, guys, everything. So today, on today's show, we're going to be discussing a very fragile topic, a very sad topic, a very topic that when you hear the stories, you wonder, who are these monsters we have in the society? Who are these people that we have among us who are killing our children, who are destroying our children psychologically? Who are they? Those children, they grow up, they act up, and you ask, why is this person like that? But you don't know what happened to them in their childhood. Today, before I bring in my first guest, I usually like to look at the statistics surrounding every topic I talk about. When I mean statistics, look at the number, the facts and figures all over the world. That's what the fact and the figure say on child rape. I want you to take a very look at this short clip. Please be warned, this clip very upsetting. Some of you viewers might find it very upsetting and very uncomfortable to watch. I know I did. But it's time to raise awareness. It's time that we mothers, we need to do better. It's time that the government, we need to improve on the system out there. The system, the legal system. What system do you have in place to protect children? Please, I want you to look at this short clip. I will be right back.
Uncle, do you?
Yes.
Wait, what happened to you in your school? What happened for school?
We ride my leg. We cover my mouth. Tell me to shut up. After break, he found to wash my hands. He found to, if I go and play, he will give me to swim only an afternoon. He will rub me clean. He will lap me, sit down, chair, we do it.
Who is the person? Who is that person? Who does that to you?
His uncle.
Which uncle? Do you know the name of the uncle?
Yes.
What is his name?
Elias. Oyeke.
What class are you?
No,
What class are you? What class are you?
the one.
Anytime I want to go and drop her, I used to drop her early in the morning, sometimes after 7. So I will drop her for this uncle, the owner of the school. Sometimes we will sit down the side of the school, he will ride Okada and go and open the door for us. And I will hand over her to him. I will say, thank you, sir, I'm going to take care of her. So I will left. After 3 days, which is the very day of this incident, on the 25th of February. So I went to school to pick her. This very day, they didn't bring her out to know that he know what he's doing. So I waited for this man. I didn't see him, so I said I should go. When I now get to school, this girl, the temperature was very hot, and he cannot even talk to me. Anytime I went to school to pick her, she's the last slow rider to finish, and it will be sweating. And this girl can ride faster too. I will be wondering, why are you being this last? All the students have gone home. You will remain in class. Sometimes the teacher will tell her to close the note, which is the one that raped her. That he will write this, he will write it by herself for her, and when they get home, he will be copying it. When I now get home now with her uniform, I open her, she cannot even eat. Everywhere, from God is hearing me. Everywhere, nowhere remain inside her vagina, from up to down, nowhere remain. I asked this girl, I was asking her, he said, Mommy, it's school. I said, what happened in school to you? He said, it's Gabriel. This very boy that she mentioned is 4 years old boy that cannot even penetrate. I didn't know him that time. He took me to this little boy in school. That afternoon, I went to the school. The school was locked. There was a teacher that worked with this school owner that raped my daughter, Elias Oyeke. Took me to also one chemist. I said, this is the chemist you are taking me to. He said, yes, this is the chemist. And He not dropped me in the chemist. When I get there, I met a woman. A woman is the owner of the chemist. I say, this is a woman. I cannot know what is wrong with this, my daughter. What make you to drop me here? Let's go to the hospital. He said, no, the woman opened my daughter. Everywhere was injury. The woman was just, a 4 years old cannot do this thing. He said, madam, just give her pain relief. He gave me ampicillin and a one white tablet. It's a vitamin C. I said, this can heal this thing. He said, the woman, how much? The woman said, 18 naira. He gave the woman 100 naira. He said, the woman said I should go and be using hot water. I said, this kind of injury, I cannot use hot water. When we got home, after 3 days, I keep asking this guy, if you know that it's not this, because I know the injury is too much, tell me the truth. Because if I say who done it, we'll be looking at the teacher, I'll be doing like this. The teacher will be looking at the ground. I say, what am I observing now? I say, I will buy you Vigil. I didn't buy her all those things. I just use that to entice her. I will buy you, just tell me the truth. If you know that it's not that small boy that done it, tell me the truth. He said, Mommy, tell me you will not tell Daddy, that he will not beat me. I don't want anybody to touch me. I'm afraid. I could have told you, sis. And this school owner warned me. Anytime tell my parents at home, he's going to wound me. He will not write in school. He said, what are you saying? Tell me. He said, anytime you drop me that early in the morning, because you used to hand over me to him, he will take me to, sometimes inside class, he will pull my pant and put inside my school bag and be using me. Anytime you come to take me around in that afternoon, that won't make me to sweat and be the slow writer. He will still come and take me to backyard when children are playing, in the midst of children, and take me to big backyard there and sit down on top of chair and wipe my leg and put me in his lap and be using me. There is a sweet he used to bring for me when he's coming to school. There is trigum inside the sweet. He have stick. Morning and afternoon he will give me. After using me, Mommy, he will clean my body. He will clean my body with red handkerchief. And this cream is rubbing inside my vagina is white. After using me, he used finger the first day. When she was telling me, I closed my eye, I broke my ear. What am I hearing?
So in a situation like this, it is only we that have the interest of children at heart, the professional like Honorary Ahmed and Co. that can take up this battle. So that is why we bring this thing to the public, calling on the Inspector General of Police to act with immediate effect. People want to see justice in this matter. This is a 7-month-old child that has been violated continuously by a proprietor of an international school, Victory International School, who is supposed to protect the child.
Welcome back. That was a very sad clip. The first time I watched this clip, personally, I couldn't. I had to sum up the courage to watch it again. Guys, this is what happened. This is what is happening all over the world every day. Young girls as age as 9 months are being molested by monsters that we have in the society. Today on my show, I have a girl. Her name is Patricia. She has lived in it. As I always say, all my guests are not victims, but they are warriors. They are survivors. We're going to be hearing Patricia's story. And Patricia is not here to share a story for you to feel sorry for her. Just for you out there to speak up. Whoever is hearing the sound of my voice and you're already going through abuse by anybody, any form of abuse, no matter how old you are, please seek help. Pick up the phone. If you are not called, please send me an email. theangietalkshow@gmail.com. theangietalkshow@gmail.com. We'll be right there to help you. I'm going to now bring in my first guest, Patricia. We're going to be hearing from her. She's going to detail her ordeal, what she went through in the hands of a monster. But guess what? She's a warrior. She's a survivor. And she's an advocate for many young people who are currently going through situation. Guys, thank you very much. Let's hear from her. Hi, Patricia. Hello. Hi. Welcome to my show. Welcome to the Angie Talk Show. How are you, Patricia? How are you?
I'm very fine.
How are you doing?
I'm very fine, Mom.
Oh, this is the second time I'm speaking to you on this.
Yes.
And thank you very much for granting me the audience again.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you on this issue. A girl child rape, as you know, is things that people they rarely talk about. You know, when you were on the show, I don't know if you remember, there was a lady that came on the show on the previous show we had, and she mentioned that she's 40 years of age and she was molested at the age of 5 years. That had 5 years old, and she's now 40. That has had an impact on her. That has impacted her psychologically. Even she's grown up now, she's married, she has children, but she has never opened up to anyone on this. She has never had the courage and the summon, not even tell her grown-up children what she went through. But she also said that my show gave her an avenue for her to open up, and for her to actually, for the first time in 35 years of her life, she opened up about her ordeal. And it was a very sad day for me, because somebody at that age, you lived all your life without telling anyone. That must have been psychologically damaging.
Yeah, it's draining.
So, Patricia, before we start, how are you?
I'm very fine.
From the time we catch up and now, how are you? How are you doing?
I've been well. Speaking like every other warrior, speaking up about rape gives you this kind of confidence that, oh, you can actually conquer anything. Creating awareness also encourages you and pushes you to, do more greater things. And my experience didn't hold me back. Instead, it sort of um, gave me ideas and empowered me to do more, to help other young ladies, other young girls who had also passed through same thing. Like when I came out openly to talk about my experience on Facebook, a lot of young girls messaged me. It was quite a very, very draining period for me because I read stories that I was in shock for days. Like I couldn't believe. I was thinking, oh, I have gone through things, I have seen things, but I read some stories. I couldn't even help but to say, Lord, I'm grateful for the experience that I had, and I'm grateful for the grace to be able to talk about it, unashamed about it, and seeking that people speaking up, and people trying to find succor in you. People are trying to like find peace in you because they believe that, oh, this lady has gone through what I went through, so it will be easy for me. It will be easier for me to like talk to her. So a lot of young girls opened up to me during that period that I came out about my case.
Yeah.
A lot of young ladies, they opened up totally to me. It was not a very, very pleasant one. It was quite draining, I must say. But then we are all warriors, and I'm happy we are one. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, and we will forever be one. So,
Yeah.
Patricia, if someone who is out there, who is watching, who is wondering, what did she really go through? Can I relate with Patricia's story? What is this that she went through that have made her a warrior? You're this fabulous warrior. So, Patricia, can you share your story? What is that you went through that you can proudly come out and call yourself a warrior? I mean, your people, our audience, those who are watching, would like to know, and I relate to her story. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for your platform. I sincerely appreciate. This is the second time I'll be speaking on your platform, and I appreciate what you are doing. I appreciate the fact that you're creating awareness on rape and child molestation. I sincerely thank you. So, as a child growing up, I grew up in the East. I grew up with my parents. As at the age of 5, I was already being molested by people coming around the house because we have a big family house. People always come in. But then the actual culprit was the person that called spam fronts for us. this person would come in and, sexually molest my sister and I as children. We never knew what he was up to. He would just take us to in a little bush path close to our house. He would rub our boobs, he would kiss our lips, he would ask us to stroke his penis. It was fun for us then as children because we didn't know what he was doing and we didn't know what we are doing either. So we obeyed, and for the fact that he was very much older than us and he's somebody we refer to as an uncle, it was very much easy for us to obey him. If he said, do this, we do it. Do that, we do it. We always obey what he says. Until my dad's elder brother discovered what was going on and harassed him and he made it public, and he was actually sent out of the village. So when he was sent out, I was immediately asked to go to Lagos with my dad's elder brother. So that was how I found myself in Lagos. And that was where most of my childhood abuse, including rape, took place. So when I moved to Lagos and I started living with my uncle, at a point I got tired of staying with them. I think he had issues with my dad and would always beat me up for issues that he had with my dad. He would always make me feel, things that he couldn't tell my father, things that he couldn't relate with my father. I bear the blunt of it. He would beat me, he would just abuse me and all of that. But it didn't end there. I got tired at a point and I decided that I'm not going to stay anymore. So I waited for the time that we were going to travel for the festive period. So when we traveled, I refused coming back with them. I said, if I'm going to be going back and you keep on beating me, I'm not returning. It's better I just stay back in the village and stay with my parents. So when I stayed back, my mom's younger sister came along and said, oh, instead of this girl staying in the village, let me just take her to Lagos. Let her stay with me in Lagos too. She stays in Lagos. She's pregnant. She already has 3 kids and she's married. So she said, instead of me staying in the village, why not me come join her in Lagos? I should join her and take care of her children. Meanwhile, she's going to send me to school. So when I came to Lagos to join her, after my family had agreed that I should go with her, when I came to Lagos to join her, she never put me in school like she promised. She allowed me to stay at home. And my job was to take care of her 3 children as at then. Then she now had a twin. So before she had the twin, her husband has been doing side talks to me. Her husband will say, oh, you look pretty. Sometimes he would like take me to the side, like smoosh my boobs and all of that bad habits. So I knew what he was doing was wrong. But I didn't know how to relate with my auntie because she was very strict and harsh to some extent to me. So I didn't know how to tell her that, oh, this is what your husband is doing, and I don't like what your husband is doing to me. So I was like, oh, let me kuma endure. If she has promised to send me to school, and I'll definitely go to school, let me just enjoy whatever I see, whatever I see in the house, I'll keep on enduring. So meanwhile, my mom would always call and my mom would ask questions. What is going on? Are you happy with what is going on in the house? She would, instruct me not to speak in Igbo because if I speak in Igbo, she can't understand what I'm saying to my mother. So I'll be forced to speak in Pidgin so she'll be able to understand our conversation. And in that way, I won't be able to tell my mom what has been happening or what has been going on. So it continued. Her husband kept on abusing me. Sometimes I'm bathing, he would just open the door. He would stand there. He would stare at me till I'm done bathing. So it continued until the day she was set to deliver. Immediately he took her to the hospital. He dropped her off at the hospital. He rushed back and he raped me in the house. So after he raped me, he said, oh, you don't tell your auntie. But anyway, even if you tell her, she's not going to believe you. She won't believe anything happened to you. She won't believe I would do such a thing to you. So it's totally useless discussing with your auntie what I did because she will still blame you and she won't believe you either. So I knew exactly what would happen if I told my auntie. It's exactly what he said. She won't believe me and she would turn it around to blame me. I seduced her husband and all of that. So he raped me twice that night before he was able to go pick his wife from the hospital 3 days later to bring her home. He gave me some pills to take. According to him, the pills are going to prevent me from pregnancy and all. The pills I later got to know were ampiclox. So later on, when the wife came, when she came back with the twins, a lot of people came visiting. So her friend came with a girl living with her. I confided in this girl that, see what my uncle has been doing to me. I explained everything from how it started, how he's been molesting me, how he's been dragging me to corners to just press on my boobs. Sometimes, even when my auntie is in the house, he would leave the bedroom, he'll come to the parlor where I'm asked to sleep, he'll lay beside me, he'll smooch my boobs, he'll wipe my ass, he'll do all sort of insane, mad things to me. I explained to the girl that this is what I've been going through. And finally, he raped me when my auntie was in the hospital, laboring to deliver of her twins. So the girl was really scared. She was like, why would your uncle do that kind of thing? I said, I don't understand. She said that she don't worry, that she's going to talk to her own auntie. I said, don't talk to anybody about this, I beg you. Because my auntie wouldn't believe you. But this girl, I don't know how she went home. She discussed with her auntie. Her auntie came with her the next day to the house to ask what I said, confirm if it's true. And my auntie was around when they came to the house. So after everything, my auntie sent them out, and my auntie faced me. She beat me mercilessly. She said, "Oh, I've been seducing her husband behind her. I've been going behind her to seduce her husband. Oh, that she has always said it. That I'm a prostitute." And I was just 13 years old. I didn't even know most of the names she labeled me. I didn't even know the meaning. So she said, oh, that anytime she's not around, all I do is to seduce her husband and all of that. She waited for her husband to come back, and she reported the same thing. The husband denied that, oh, he never touched me, oh, that he has always been seeing me with boys around the streets, that probably there is one of them that molested, that he's not the one. He never said that, he can't do such a thing. Then he picked few of his things and he left the house. When he left the house, the wife got more angry. She beat me up. She threatened to kill me. She told me she's going to kill me and she would show me, nobody will know what happened to me. I knew she could do it. She was capable of anything. She has threatened me severely with knife, as in serious attacks from her most times. So I knew if she said she's going to do this, she's definitely going to do it. So I waited till evening and I took advantage of the fact that I wanted to go and throw the dirty away. And I took off. I ran away. I ran for life. I ran back to my uncle's place and I explained everything. My uncle, that my dad's elder brother, they are all in Lagos. I ran back to his place. I explained everything, that this is what I went through. This is what has been what I've been passing through. So immediately they called my mom to report her sister to her, that see what your sister and her husband has been doing to your daughter. My mom was very angry. She came to Lagos the next day and they had serious issues up until now. They don't even like talk to each other like siblings. The issue is still yet to be resolved till today. So, but I continue to stay with my uncle because they actually sent me back to school. So in that period, I started talking to people. I used to be like I used to like keep to myself a lot after I came back from my auntie's place, based on all the issues that I went through there and all the rape and abuse I passed through both couples' hands. So when I came back, when I came back to live with my uncle, I was always scared and always kept to myself. But somehow I started talking to another person, a guy. So I confided in him everything, that see what I've been through, see what my uncle and the wife did to me, and all of that. I confided in him, and he would always, encourage me and tell me that, oh, that's not the end of the world. You still have many more, many more things to achieve as a young lady. You do this, and he encouraged me. He was more like a rock for me then, because he was the only person I could easily tell in details what I went through. I felt he was a very good friend. Well, I didn't know he was like saying all that to like get me very close to him, so he would take advantage of me. So later on, I kept on being close to him. He would help me with my assignments and all of that. He was way older than me. He was already 25 as of then, and I was 14 going to 15 that period. So On a very good day, I visited him in his house. I had never entered his apartment before, but that very day he invited me in. He said, "Oh, his parents, his grandma, yeah, he was actually sharing the apartment with his grandma and sister. Said, oh, his grandma and sister are not around, that they went for camping, that could just come in and spend some time." I feel there was nothing wrong in it. It was for 6 months, and I feel he was a very good person and he's different. So I felt nothing wrong with it, and I went in with him. He immediately I came in, he shut the door, he tore off my clothes, and he raped me. I was screaming that he said, "Oh, no need screaming, no point in screaming. If you keep on screaming, nobody's going to hear you, and nothing is going to happen even if they hear you. So no point in screaming." So I kept quiet and I let him have his way.
I'm sorry. You know, Patricia, take your time. Take your time. Hi guys, sorry. Uh, you've heard from Patricia. We are going to go on a short break. I will be back. Thank you.
Yes, yes, I'm fine. So hope you can hear me very well, mom. Yes. So um despite my pleas for help, and I pleaded so well with him to stop what he was doing, to stop the abuse. But he said, "Oh, why should it stop? After all, I'm not a virgin, and you see no reason why I should be holding him back. I should just allow him have his own way. If my uncle could do it to me, why couldn't he do it to me? I should just keep quiet and allow him have his way. I'm not a virgin after all, so there's nothing to hide or nothing to protect. There's nothing left in me I should be covering up. So I should just allow him." So I kept quiet and I allowed him have his way. He tore off my clothes. He had his way very painfully in me. After that, he still refused to open up. He still refused to open the door for me and let me go. I pleaded with him that, "Oh, I need to go. My people will be looking for me by now." He refused, and he went on to rape me again. After the second rape, that was when he felt sorry. He felt really bad for what he did, and he started apologizing. He said, "Oh, he was truly sorry. He didn't wanted to do it intentionally, but he was like, oh, since I've already had it with my uncle, that he see no point in me refusing him. And he if he had come to beg me, that I would have refused him. So that's why he decided to have his way forcefully." So I left the house because he got me some other clothes for me to wear. I wore those other clothes. I left the house and I ran back home. I went I went into the apartment through the back door so nobody would see or notice my change of clothes or my composure. So that rape experience actually got me pregnant, and in for months I couldn't speak to him. I couldn't talk to him. For months I didn't even know I was pregnant. I didn't even know I had a child in me till like 6 months later. So when my uncle and his wife that I stayed with had discovered I was pregnant, they ma
Carry on with what you're saying.
oh, I can hear you now. Yes. So when it was discovered that I had taken in, um, it was not such a pleasant news, especially for my family. They were really really distraught, and my uncle and the wife that I stayed with that period that I stayed with at that moment in time, they felt it worst because I was staying with them, and they feel, oh, this girl has been living with us since she was 8 years old. We've been feeding her, paying her school fees. I'm taking care of her. So we don't like understand why, what she didn't, what she lacks, or what she didn't have that made her. They felt like then it was like a terrible thing to do. It was like the most terrible thing to do, like as a young girl. And I was the first actually in my family. I was the first person in my family that experienced such and will be having a child out of wedlock. It was quite a very, very terrible time and moment for my family. But they felt, oh, I should have known better. I should have done things differently. So, but I had nobody to talk to me, nobody to like advise me. Everybody felt, oh, you should, yeah. Everybody felt, oh, you should have known better. You should have known the right thing to do. And for crying that loud, at that point in time, I was just 15. I knew nothing. In fact, I knew next to nothing. Nobody wanted to understand. As at that point, as of 2011, 2012, rape was not a big issue in Nigeria then. People don't talk about it. Even if you talk about it, nothing happens.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Even till now, it's just that it's different now because it's not gaining momentum. It's not gaining social media relevance. Yeah, but then it's oh, you are raped. Oh, go and take drugs. Nobody takes it seriously. No police reports will be made. Even if they arrest the rapist, nothing happens. Nothing happens because mine was actually being arrested, but nothing happened. The next day, or I think in 3 days' time, he was out of prison.
I mean, 3 days.
Yes, 3 days. 3 days. He was locked up in 3 days. His people went, they bailed him with 5,000 naira. He was out of the prison. So it was really not an issue if you're a young girl and you are raped because you'll be blamed. Everybody will blame you. Where did you go to? Why were you there? Why were you in his house? What prompted you to be there? Questions like that would always arise, and the whole thing will be turned against you. So victims never speak up. It's a very terrible tradition in Nigeria. So even till now, rape victims hardly speak up or come out to talk about the rape. But then talking about it was more like pouring water on a log of food because nobody understood what I was talking about. Everybody was like, oh, you liked him now. If you didn't like him, you won't go there. Oh, you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, why would you be going there? Questions like that was what I was being thrown at. And why did you leave the house without letting anybody know? Who did you tell when you are leaving the house? Why did you go there? Nobody would ask questions. Why did the boy do it? Or why did he do what he do? Nobody asks such questions. The questions are always being directed to the female, and her life will be first. Like mine was first. My education was first. Psychologically, I was not ready for what was going on. I was not ready for the child. I was not ready for anything. I was just totally empty and all of that. So that period was, I would say, the most trying period of my life. Is the most trying period of and in fact, my entire existence up until now was channeled around that period. That period changed my life forever. Because first of all, after that incident, I was pushed off into child marriage. I was married off when I was 16 years old. So it's not even being married that was the problem. The the person marrying to me, like the person getting married to me was much more like this person could pass as my father. It was that terrible.
How old was he?
He should he should be in his 50s, like 50s.
We will take a break for 1 minute. I will be back. Hi guys. We've been hearing from Patricia. We've heard how different people entrusted in her life abused her, molested her, the one that she trusted, the one she looked up to protect her, molested and abused her. Even her daughter became a product of rape. It didn't end there. She was now pushed into child marriage. How can this be? Guys, we'll get back to Patricia. Let's continue. Hi Patricia. Hi. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Continue.
Okay, so during that period, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah, yes. Yes, I can hear you, yes.
Okay, okay. So, like I was saying earlier, that period was one of the most challenging period of my life because it's everything that has happened to me and then everything that is still happening was based around that period in time. I I lost my education and I lost myself. I lost everything about me, and I was just shipped to marry this very much older man, like a very much old man, like a man I could easily say, oh, he's my father. Like he was aged with my father. And so when I actually married him, he made promises of me going back to school, going forward in my education. So it was on that grounds that I couldn't run away. I was like, oh, if it was to have a child and still go back to school, why shouldn't I do this? Why shouldn't I marry him? So I was
Hello? Guys, we're having some network issues. That was just Patricia we're hearing from. Quite a very, quite a very sad story. Happened to someone you trust. She was raped at an age of 5 by a relative. Her mother's sister took her. She was raped by her mother's sister's husband. So various situations in her life have happened. But it didn't stop her from being a warrior. It didn't stop her from being a survivor. But you know, yes, we can hear you, Patricia. Let's get back to Patricia. Hi, Patricia, we can hear you. Yes, I can see you. Perfect. I can see your beautiful face. You're a warrior indeed. You are indeed a warrior. You are indeed a warrior. Continue. Thank you.
so I had my daughter who's currently 8 years now. So at that moment, after I had her, like 4 months after I had her, he said, oh, you can move to Lagos now and stay with me with the child. So I moved to Lagos to join him. Meanwhile, he was actually planning for the white wedding and the traditional marriage as at that time. But I had other plans because when I moved to join him, I noticed he was a bully. He would insult me over everything, over any little thing I do. He would insult me. Any little thing I say, he would hit me. Even if I'm with the baby or I'm feeding the baby, he will still hit me. He doesn't mind. He doesn't have
Hit you.
control over.
He will hit you.
Yes, he would hit me. He would slap me. If he had a remote on his hand or a stick or whatever he has with him at the moment, he would use it to hit me, even if I was with a child. And when I cry or shout, he would be like, "Oh, nobody would. Who are you shouting at? Nobody is going to like fight for you. You don't have a family that will speak up for you. You don't have siblings that will do anything. So why would you be shouting? Who's going to standing for you? You have nobody. You don't have a family. If you had had a family, they wouldn't have allowed you at your age to get married to me and all of that. He showed those silly things to me. He doesn't let me go to church, doesn't let me leave the house. I don't go to market. Like, as a married woman, I can't even go to market. It was that bad. He would send people to get things just for me not to leave the
Go
house or
out.
stay
Yeah.
in the house. Yes. So I was always indoors. Every minute I'm indoors. I was just getting big. When I would call my mom to report what is going on, she said, he has every right. He has every right to, hit me. He has every right to talk to me the way he likes because, he's your husband. You have to be submissive. You have to obey. You have to stay under him. You have to keep quiet, whatever he does. Oh, he's perfect. He's wonderful. You are a small girl, so you have to be listening. You have to just listen to him, even if what he's doing to you is not right. You just have to pay attention. You have to be learning. You have to learn from him. He's much older than you. He can't deceive you. Anything he tells you is perfect, is okay. It
Very
was
simple.
it was a journey period for me because at my age I had no certificates whatsoever. I was with a child and I was in a very terrible marriage. And I don't speak to people. I'm just in there, inside the house. I was just getting big. So when I even have the opportunity to go out and see people and tell them what I'm going through, nobody believes me. They'll be like, oh, how can you say you're going through all these things and you're looking this big? Look at you floppy you are. You're so fat. You're so fleshy. So how can you be going through this kind of thing? It's not possible. Your husband is rich now, so you can't be suffering. Don't be saying this thing, people will not, nobody would believe you and the whole of that. So it was, at a point I stopped talking about it because I keep hearing the same thing. I'll speak to my father on the phone. He will say, oh, why are you calling me to tell me that kind of thing? Don't you know you are supposed to obey? If he slaps you, tell him thank you. If you do this, tell him you appreciate him. So
As of when? What year was this? 20.
this was happening in 2013, 2012, 2013, because I had my daughter 2012.
Yeah.
So this was happening 2013. So then too, domestic violence does not have, it's not gaining momentum like it has, now domestic violence has gained so much momentum on social media. People now really talk about it. People now seek help. A lot of domestic violence victims seek help. So it's not like now that, everything is now out there. You can just pick your phone. Like most domestic violence women now, they just pick up their phone. They just do a video, record what they're going through, say their location, and help will just meet them. But then nobody, in fact, if they're beating you, enjoy the beating. It's your husband. You have to enjoy it. So that was what I hear that period. Oh, he's beating you. Endure now. He's marrying to you. He's taking care of your family. This man takes care of your family. So just endure whatever he dishes to you. Endure it. It's not easy to see. He was like a messiah. He sees himself like, oh, the savior, the messiah, like he has come to save me. So it was more of like the messiah kind of slave marriage. I was the slave, he was the messiah. He was trying to save me, he was trying to save my family. So that I kept on enduring. I kept on enduring. At a point, I knew I couldn't endure anymore because at this time he was not just beating me. I was slowly going into depression, and depression doesn't have, there's no awareness on depression as of then. Even until now, depression has this little or no awareness at all. So I was slowly going into depression. I was losing my mind. I don't even know what I was doing. I couldn't do things appropriately. Like, I knew it was time to go, but I didn't know how to go or how to go about it. I didn't know how to go. I didn't know how to leave. I didn't know how to make plans to leave. So I was slowly waiting for him to travel because he was going to travel any moment from then. So I slowly waited for him to travel. When it was time for him to leave, I was packing my things. I was packing my daughter's things. I was just putting them in place. So immediately he left. The same morning he left, I picked my things, the few things that I could easily live with it without anybody noticing what was going on. I picked those few things. I left the house same morning. So I didn't know that before I could get to the park, somebody had already called him to say, "Oh, we just saw your wife and daughter leaving with some bag." So he came back. He left where he was going to. He came back and he rushed because he knew then there was only one park I knew I could use and go back to my parents' house. So he knew of the park. He rushed straight back to the park. He saw me there. From there, he was like, "Oh, you want to run away?" it was really embarrassing because we were just looking at me, looking at the child, then looking at him too. So he was like, "Oh, where do you think you're running to? Oh, you want to run away? You want to run away with my money?" Then from the park, he just, he hit me from there and like, "Oh, you must enter the car, and when you get home, I'll deal with you." So we got home. He beat me mercilessly and he was like, "Oh, any day you dream to leave this house, any day you try to leave me, any day you try to leave this house, just make sure you bought your coffin because I'll make sure I kill you and I'll send you back to your parents as a corpse and nobody will do anything." And I knew that was the truth. I just knew he could do it because, oh, he has the rich man privilege. When the rich people do things, nobody talks about it.
They get away with it, yes.
Nobody talks about it. So, and judging from the kind of family I was coming from, they'll be like, "Oh, he's his wife now. Maybe he has married her already. So let us just bury her. Oh. There's nothing we can do. Let us just bury her. Let her soul rest in peace." That is the only thing they would do. Nothing else. Nobody would ask him. Nobody dare ask him, "What did you do to her? Or how did she die? Or what happened?" Nobody asked him. So I knew that was going to be my portion if I didn't obey him, if I didn't just stay
Yeah.
the way he asked me to. But I had other plans. I knew I was going to run. I knew that I just have to plan very well. I have to plan effectively and I won't be caught. So the other time he traveled again, I intended running away. So I didn't pack anything at all. So when he left the house, I waited 2 days later, 2 days after he had left. I just took my daughter. I didn't take any bag, so as to not raise any suspicion. So I just left the house with my transport money that will take me from Lagos State. This was actually happening in Lagos. So I just left the transport that will take me from Lagos State to my own state, Anambra State. So I just had that money on me and my child, and I ran off. I ran away. I was 19 as at then. So I took off. I ran to my father's house. When I got to my father's house, they were not really happy to see me. They were like, "Oh, why did you come back?" I told them that, "See what I've been going through." Hey, if you're going through such a thing, why didn't you stay? You should have. We have told you several times. You don't leave.
Typical.
And
Typical Nigerian mentality. The African mentality. Yeah.
even
Carry
till
on.
now, I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed to actually identify with people like that because till now, such people still exist around me. You tell them about abuse, and they will be like, "Oh, it's normal now." So there is a man that loves you that is going to beat you. If your husband doesn't love you, he won't beat you. It's love that is making him to beat you. They have so much. They have so much. They have so much stuff.
Glorify abuse. Yes.
They've just made abuse so easy, so comfortable that when you talk about it, they'll feel like, "Oh, this is not something you should talk about. You should be happy that he's even beating you." After all, they said he's somebody that loves you, that will correct you, that he's just correcting you. If he doesn't love you, he won't correct you. So just you are supposed to enjoy it. So when my family saw me, they were like, "Oh, so it's because of this thing you came back. Better get ready, oh. You are going back there, oh. You are going to go back to that house because we see no reason why you should be coming back because of slap and beating." It's normal now. It's normal thing. It's not time that he will stop, and he can only stop when they see that when you have noticed that you have changed. Those are the things they are telling me. So I went to my other uncle's house, my dad's immediate younger brother. I knew he's going to listen to me because he was more exposed. So I feel he will have a different knowledge about what I was going through. So I spoke to him. I spoke to my dad's younger brother. I told him, Uncle, look at what I'm going through. This is why I came back. This is why I've left my husband's house to come back to the house. This is what I'm going through. And he was so mad. He said, what was my father saying about it? I said, my father is saying I would go back. He took up the case. He said, I'm not going anywhere. In fact, he said, okay, come, let me take you back to your father's house. Let me speak to your father. So he came, he was talking to my father. My father said, no, she's going to go back. She must go back. The man is already married to her. They are married. They are one. Let her go there. Anything she see, let her take it like that. My uncle said over his dead body, would I leave that house to the man's house? That I'm not going, and that, in fact, that he has ended the marriage, that the marriage is over. That, so even if the man comes back to plead or apologize that such a thing won't happen again, that there's no way I'll be going back there. So I stayed a whole month in the house before the man even came looking for me. He never called my parents for one day to ask, oh, did you see her? I came back from travel. She wasn't. He never called them. He never asked them. He just said till after a month later, he came to the house. So when he asked why I was leaving, I said I was leaving because he was always beating me. He maltreated me. He made me feel like I was a slave instead of a wife. He was not treating me well. And it's not like I'm going to be going back to school like he promised me. I was just always being locked up in the house. And it's not like I could even have more children for him, except I go out there and sleep with other men to be able to have children for him. He was suffering from impotency, so he couldn't pregnant a woman. So I was asked to go out there, make friends, and get pregnant. But he never wanted me to do it in Lagos.
If you had, so let's get this. If you had stayed in the marriage,
he said I will stay with his sister and
Patricia, can you hear me?
Get pregnant, then I'll come back with the pregnancy.
Yeah.
And, it was a very shitty situation for me as a young girl at that moment. It was one of the hardest things I'd ever, taken a decision on. But I took that decision and I stood on it that I'm never doing this. I'm never going to do it. I would never ever go to sleep with any man and bring pregnancy for you. It can't happen. Like,
so
I'm never going to allow it happen to me.
So
it's never happening.
If he had remained in the marriage, yeah. The husband was impotent, she would have been required to sleep with other men in order to give the husband a baby. So she would be required to sleep to the extent the man might even bring the men in the house for her to sleep with in order for her to have a baby for him. Isn't this word crazy? I'm
very crazy.
Continue.
Very crazy. It was really crazy. So this thing, this very part of this story, my parents doesn't know anything about it. It was just between me and his sisters. It was just between me, him, and his sisters. His four sisters and myself. We are the only one involved. We are the only one that knew about it. They encouraged me not to talk to anyone about it. I should just do like they say. They promised a lot of things like, oh, if you do this, we are going to do this for you. If you do this, we are going to do this for you. We'll send you to any school you want, even if it's going to abroad to go and school, we'll send you there. And a lot of crazy promises were made. But I was like, oh, even with a daughter, you are suffering like this. You want to go and get pregnant again? It's not even as in you want to get pregnant again and add to the original suffering you are suffering. If you don't have sense, you have to have sense this period though. so that was what even made me stood on my ground that I was never doing it was because of the way he treated me. He treated me like, oh, anything I say, you must do it. You have no choice. I take care of you. I take care of your child. I take care of your family. So if I ask you to do this, you must do it obediently. You have no choice but to do it. So his attitude towards me made me harden my heart that I would never do it. And I was bent on not doing it. So when I left and he came asking, why am I leaving? I said, I never made mention of the other aspects, him and his family forcing me to go get pregnant and have more babies for him. I never mentioned that aspect because my family was not aware about it. I just stuck with the fact that, oh, he was always beating me, he was always abusing me. So he was still insisting that, oh, you're going to go back. But fortunately, my uncle has convinced my father So my father is not standing with my uncle that I'm not going back. So they told him to pay a certain amount into my account, to enable me take care of the child. He said he's not paying anything. He's not going to pay anything. That if I suffer very well, that I've not suffered, that when I suffer in this village, that I have no choice than to take the child and get back to him. So he left immediately. They were still trying to talk to him, try to come into an agreement with him. He just walked out because he had never respected my family. He felt, oh, my family had always depended on him during the period that we are both married. So he has zero or no respect for them. So their choice or whatever they say doesn't stand. He just walked out. He walked out of my family, and that was it. So I stayed back. Sincerely, things were not. It was not easy. It was seriously not easy for me at that period in time. I suffered a great deal. My daughter was always falling sick.
Yeah. And how?
My daughter was always falling sick.
Yeah. And how did you? Yeah. How did you find yourself here now? You've been through. I mean, it's an experience that nobody wants to dream of going. It's a very sad story. It's a story of the people that you trust betraying you. It's a story of it all started at the age of 5. 5 years. You're a minor. You're a kid. You're not right enough. You don't even know all the areas of your private part. As you clearly said, when you were abused by him, you didn't know what was going on. And that still carried on. You left for the village to Lagos. That still happened. And it still carried on. Now you're here. You've gone through so much suffering. You've gone through. When I read your story, I cried. It brought tears down my eyes. It brought tears down my eyes. And I asked myself, what monsters are we raising in the society? And you clearly said that you confided in a guy who you thought was an uncle, and he eventually took advantage of you. And your daughter became a product of that.
Yeah.
How did you get to this place? Because, as I said, you're a warrior. Your story is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Very, very heartbreaking. But I must say, you are a warrior. How? Patricia, you are in school now. You're your second year in the university, yeah? You're with your daughter. Before I ask that, your daughter being a product of the experiences you went through. When you see her, when you look at your daughter, considering that there's somebody out there, there's a mother who is currently watching this show, who their daughter might be a product of rape. When they look at their daughter, all they see is, my ugly experience. You're my ugly experience. When you see your daughter, how do you feel when you look at her?
Initially, because of the situation surrounding her birth, before I could bet her, I was already married off. So when I had her, I never felt this hatred for her. I felt no form of hatred for her. I had so much love for her, and I was determined to raise her differently. Like the way my parents, I was determined to be a different parent to her. Be the best, the kind of parent I wanted my parents to be was the kind of parent I wanted to be to her. So, but when everything happened, and at the end of the day, she was taken away from me. She was taken away from me when she was 2 years. From the estranged husband's family. They took her away when she was 3 years. So when I reconnected back with her, I had so much hatred for her. Like, I seriously hated her for some weird reasons. Not even because of.
What's your reason? Was it because of your experience, or so?
No, not even the circumstances.
When you look at her, what do you think? Does it remind you of my pain? Does it? I read a story
Yeah.
of a woman. Her daughter was a product of rape. She was on one of the talk show that I had, but I never really aired our show. So she said to me, Angie, that was then. When I looked at my daughter, all I had was hatred. It reminded me of the pain. It reminded me of what I would have been. And when I had so much dream, I had so much vision. But I said to her, wait, hang on. It wasn't the reason why you never achieved that. She was never, she can never be. It's a blessing. She was a blessing. You know, so when you say you had that hatred, why? Why was that hatred towards her?
My hatred towards her was for the fact that I felt she was a stumbling block for me achieving a lot of things. I felt she held me back. I felt she was more of an obstacle to me. So and true, she had this very striking resemblance with her biological father. Not the one that married me. The
The,
one, yes, very striking resemblance. So whenever I see her, I see him. So it was and I hated him. I hated him for the fact that he didn't take responsibility. I hated him for the fact that he felt that what he did was right. He never felt he should apologize. He felt, oh, what I did was normal. It's okay. Why should we complain about it? Why should I apologize for what I did? So for that singular act alone, I grew so much hatred for him to the extent that anytime I get to see my daughter, I just see him. I see him, and this hatred becomes as new, like raging new. It's terrible, but then
Patricia, 1 minute. Let's take a short break.
yeah.
Just 1 minute. Hi everyone, I've just been speaking to Patricia. As you've heard it, oh, she's been through the worst of the worst. She's a warrior. Raped at 5, molested at 5, moved to the city very young, molested by her mother's sister husband. It didn't just stop there. It carried on. Until she bettered the child through this. Some of you will, how? Wasn't there anybody? There was. Everyone she confided in let her down. Her friends let her down. It got to a point, she just didn't know what to do. She could not open up to anyone again. The trust wasn't there. The resources wasn't there for her. Even to an extent, she was now at 16, a 16-year-old married off to a 50-year-old man. As she was going to be made to sleep with other men to bet a child for the man. Guys, that's it. That's the worst of the worst. Very sad story. Somebody who is watching me there, I don't know who you are, I don't know who you may be. You're currently seeing this video, or you're currently watching me, please. There's a voice. Your voice will be heard. Don't be silenced by those monsters. When you keep quiet, they win. They cannot win over your life. They don't owe your life. You owe your life. She has taken charge. She ran away from the man she was married off to. Some women would have just remained, but she said, I refuse to remain there. Not a lot of people out there have the guts to do that. Guys, please, I don't know where you're watching from, I don't know who you are, please, seek help. Again, if you're not comfortable talking to people around, if you're not comfortable ringing 999 or speaking to various foundations out there, I am not a foundation. I'm not a specialist in any field. I am just a girl trying to make a change in people's life. I'm just a human being like you trying to help other human beings. I'm just a girl who have been through some certain phase in my life, and I decided I'm going to make an impact in the life of people in the society. Please, if you need to speak to me again, email me. No one has access to my email. I read all email that comes through. Email me at theangietalkshow@gmail.com. Again, theangietalkshow@gmail.com. I've had other people where we've sat down, we've discussed their stories, and I've never heard their stories. So if you're comfortable for me to bring your stories out there for other people to hear, learn, that's fine. But if you're not, I'm still here. I'm still going to talk to you. Above all, we're here to help. We're here to make a change. So we'll be hearing from Patricia, and we're going to go back hearing from her. Please, guys, if you know anyone, the signs are obvious. Sometimes we miss the sign. When someone comes to you and tell you they are being molested, please, it's very important for you to do something. Don't ignore them, regardless of where you think you're from, regardless of your belief or your views on rape. You must never ignore a child. She was raped at 5 years. A kid at 5. What do you have? You barely know nothing. And being grown up in the village, awareness of rape. There was nothing like awareness of rape. I know that I was born in Nigeria. I lived in the village during my childhood. I didn't know a lot about rape. I didn't even know a lot about different parts of my body. I didn't know that there's some certain things that men shouldn't do to you and men should do to you. No one knew that. But she was taken advantage of by people that is supposed to be there for her. So we're going to get back to hearing from Patricia. But like I said, Patricia, she's a warrior. She has won. We've heard her story, but we've not heard where she is now. She's in a better place, in an amazing place. And guess what? She'll go far in life. As long as she has me, God. No, not me. As long as she has God first. And you, she'll go far in life. So guys, let's get back to hearing from Patricia.
Yuri.
You were where you are now. You have so much hatred for her, yeah. You have so much, yeah.
Yeah, so
and she looks so much like the father, yeah.
Yeah, she looks so much like her father. And I had so much hatred for him because of what he did, and he never did fit to apologize. So, but when I talked about my abuse, I got help, and I was linked to a therapist. I spoke to a therapist, and after several sessions with the therapist, I had, a change of mindsets. A lot of things. You won't really know how much you're holding on to till you seek help.
Absolutely.
So
I agree.
until I actually seeked help and spoke to that therapist was when all the bad energies, all the grudges that I've held so much over the past years, everything, I just let it go. And I took most of the advices, and I read one of the books she recommended, and I've been doing very good so far after speaking with the therapist. The relationship has not really been amazing, that mother-daughter relationship. I'm trying. The most important thing is that I admit my wrongs, and I'm trying to grow. I'm trying. I'm definitely going from there.
And you will get there.
Yes.
You'll get there.
Hopefully.
I've seen your messages on WhatsApp, your pictures of your daughter, how amazing you do look. She's a blessing.
Yeah.
Forget about the experience, the past. And there's something that you said you did. You sought help. The help of a therapist.
Yes.
She sought the help of a therapist. She
Yes.
went to various counseling.
Yeah.
She had various sections. As well as seeking for help of a therapist, you also prayed. she also had faith in God. Had different therapy section, and she then realized that there was so much she was holding on to, so much unforgiveness she was holding on to, that she hadn't let go. But now, in a good part, as I said, you're a warrior. No room for crying, no room for, they haven't won. You're the winner. You are the winner. You've won. In every way, you have won. You have defeated them. Right now, please tell us what you're doing, how you got to where you are now. Just tell us somebody out there. There's a lot of people who've gone through your situation and they thought, I was raped at this, I have a child, I'm never going to be good, I'm never going to be useful to myself. There's no such thing as university, no such thing as education. I've wasted every opportunity. I've lost out on every opportunity for me to be educated. But in your case, that's not the case for you.
Yeah, that's not the case.
Something fabulous. I like this part because you know why I laugh, I smile at this part, because they cannot win. They cannot win. They can take your body, but they cannot take your mind. They cannot mess with your mind, because of you have a new brand mind. Your mind is renewed. Your soul is renewed. You're in a better place, my love. So tell us what you're doing now.
Yeah. Okay. So for a moment I lost myself. So, sorry, I'm not aware. My earpiece. Oh, sorry for the interruption.
No,
Sorry
do
for
want
the
to try again. Hold on.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry for the interruption.
No, I will edit the video. Oh yeah, carry on. So what are you doing now?
I like every other thing I've gone through in life. One thing I know that I'm never stopping is education. I always loved education. I've always been pushing through that. Oh, I want to get educated. So at any mention of I'm going to help you get back to school, I jump at it. So I've always had this love for education. I've always wanted to be educated because I know education is power. So
indeed,
yeah, it's power. So, and as a young girl coming from the kind of place I am coming from, I know I needed that extra voice. I know I needed that extra protection. I once spoke to a parish priest, and this parish priest was like, "Oh, he said it in Igbo. I don't know if I'm allowed to use. I don't know if I'm allowed to use Igbo. Yes.
Go ahead.
So,
yes.
He said he had never met him before. This was actually the very first time I was meeting him, and he said in Igbo, he said he needs to go out. Achọrọ nke ịgala ọnụ ka ịgala ezigbo ọnụ mana ị agụ akwụkwọ because ị nwere potentials mana ọ bụrụ na ịgụ ha akwụkwọ you won't be able to discover them. So when I heard that thing, I felt so restless. For weeks, going to months, I was restless. I was hell bent on going back to school. So when the opportunity came for me finally, I took quiet, and by the help and the grace of God, speaking out about your abuse and experiences, opens doors for you. It links you to people. I met you. You could remember I met you while speaking up. So while speaking up, I also met a lady that was, you actually need to go back to school, and I would make sure you go back to school. So she was hell bent on sending me back to school. So when I told her, about my WAEC results and how it was, she was like, you need to go back to school. But judging from the way things are in Nigeria, I don't think it is okay for you to school in Nigeria because of the strike. Like we all know, Nigerian universities has been on strike for over a year now. It was like, you can't go back, you can't be waiting for Nigerian schools, or you end up going to school for 10 years for a course of 4 years. So better off you go to an African university where it will be easy for you. African universities are 3 years, so you are done with school. So she made plans for me. she sent some links for me to check out on the internet, and I checked out some links on the internet, and we finally ended up in a school in Benin Republic, Cotonou.
So,
So
so
yeah,
now,
so
so
yeah,
you see
so
the amazing news.
yes, so
Patricia
mom.
is now in school. She never would believe that she would be in school, but she's not in school,
Never
guys.
ever,
She's
never ever.
studying. She's going to
Never.
her second year. So, Patricia, for those who are wondering what the Angie Talk Show is all about, I know you appeared in our show. What
Yeah.
have we done for you?
Okay.
What
Well,
and what and as I said, as I spoke to you on the phone, you're going
yeah,
into your second year.
yeah,
We are going to continue helping. We're going to
yeah,
see you through your first year, second year, and third year the best we can. You are a living testimony that your situation does not define you. Life does not define you. Life experiences does not define you. You know what
yeah,
defines you? Is what you do with your life.
yeah.
So for those of you who's wondering, the Angie Talk Show, I have Patricia on the show. What am I going to do for her? Please let them know what we do and what any help we offer. Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said earlier on the show,
Yep.
I really appreciate your platform. I appreciate what your platform has been doing for both victims and victims of domestic violence and every manner of abuse. Me as a person, when I first hello ma.
I'm here, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, okay, okay. So as an individual, when I first spoke on the show, when Miss Angie first contacted me to speak on the show, and I was live on the show, it gave me a different kind of voice. You know, speaking to over 25 participants cut across the world. You know, it gave me this kind of confidence that, oh, you can actually, you know, speak to anybody, you can do anything you want, you can achieve whatsoever you want to achieve. Never in my life, never in my years on earth have I, you know, have I ever known that, oh, there would be a time I'll be speaking to people on a platform
Yeah.
and I'll be heard in different parts of the world. It was quite fulfilling for me. It was amazing. You know, for days I was basking in the euphoria of having spoken to different people at the same time. I couldn't just get over it. I wish I could just like tell everybody, oh, I spoke to somebody in Iran. Oh, I spoke to somebody in the UK. I spoke to somebody. So I was that happy and excited. So the platform avails you that opportunity to be able to be listened to be able to be heard, and also learn from other individuals. And they don't just do that; they also support you. I like your platform for the support. After that, after my first time on your show, you've been very supportive, very supportive. This Christmas,
No, don't tell anybody why I gave to you.
I'll
No,
say
please.
it, I'll
No,
say
no,
it.
no, no. You're not allowed to say to anybody what I give to you. As I said, you know, it's not, you know, we're not what I gave to you or what. That's nothing. That's not to be mentioned on the show. It's between us. So keep it that way.
Yes.
So, Patricia, you are a blessing. You have a potential. You will go far in life. Above all, please love your daughter. She's a blessing. She's a diamond that can never be broken. You know, diamond, you know, sometimes in a fact that diamond is so precious, if you don't look after it properly, it will eventually break. It will eventually damage. I have a diamond upstairs, right? If I don't look after it properly, if I decide that I don't care about this diamond, I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna just do whatever. If at the end it's gonna break. But you know what? A diamond like your daughter never break. You know, she has someone, the future president of Nigeria, the future finance minister, the future aviation minister. You don't know where life takes. That's your daughter. And then you look back, you be like, I gave birth to her. I bettered her. In my pain brought me joy. My pain brought me life. My pain brought me happiness. Love her. Cherish her. Carry her like an egg. An egg, egg break. Carry her like a diamond. Diamond is what people, diamond is an asset people cherish. When you buy someone a diamond, they cherish it. Cherish her. Your ass is gone. I'm happy. You're psychologically well. You're doing well. You experienced. You made a difference. You ran. If you hadn't run, by now you would have ended up with 3 or 4 children by different men, and you go through sexual abuse over and over again. A lot of people are not given this opportunity. Most people, they do it and they die in the process. But you speak up. Guys, please, you need to speak up. You need to let your voice be heard. We'll be hearing from Patricia, the warrior. She didn't give up. If she had given up, she won't be in her 2nd year, yeah? Correct me? I'm going to your 2nd year in university.
I'm going to my school, yes.
2nd year. Her daughter is also in school. She lives outside of Nigeria. Where she's living, there's constant electricity. And that's not the end. Because she is going to have a fabulous, amazing future. That's a millionaire in making. She's a millionaire in making, very intelligent. Can you imagine if she gave up? Can you imagine that if she had given up? Can you imagine if she didn't run away from her 50-year-old husband? She would be dead. Only God knows what he would do to her.
And I've probably been a widow, because he's dead now.
The man is dead. You hear that now? Yeah. The man is dead. He died in March this year. Yeah. The man, and how old are you, Patricia?
I'm 24.
Patricia would have been a widow at 24. And she might not even live up to 24 because the man would have killed her. So guys, she made the right decision. She opened up. She let the world know. She's a therapist. Above all, what did you say? When you open up.
When you open up, it brings you to a lot of opportunities, and you are getting to meet people with like mindsets. But people willing to help you, people willing to push you, people that not see you like the victim that you are, but people that see you differently, like you've always been saying, oh, you're a warrior, you're a winner. You're words of encouragement. So speaking of availing the opportunity of meeting, people that have conquered a lot in life and willing to help you attain the same height.
Absolutely.
Like they are, or even more than they are.
Absolutely. And you've attained greatness. I just want you to be determined. When you want to give up, ask yourself, where have I come from? That 5-year-old girl that was molested is going to be a millionaire. And when you look back, you will change many lives. Then, I was so inspired by your story, because a lot of people never get the opportunity to share their story. I say, yes, your own is not I am now, it's I was. What I am now, I'm in school, I live with my daughter, she's in school, she's learning French, I'm learning French. God bless you. You are an inspiration. For those of you, you've heard from Patricia, opening up avails you opportunity. Never see yourself as a victim. If you see some people, they have their makeup on, they're wearing expensive jewelry, but their experiences have brought them where they are today. Without your experience, without your past, there is no future. So please, guys, if you have anybody who is going through abuse, any form of abuse, do not ignore the sign. Never ignore the sign. It started off as a sad story. It would have been a sad story if Patricia did not walk away. It would have been a sad story if Patricia had remained with her 50-year-old husband and died in the process. Because I mean, there's that sad story Patricia had. Because things like that affect you psychologically. You go on drugs, you start smoking, you start running in the street, man. But she chose to run. She chose to speak up. When you speak up, people are here to listen. You think the world that in this society there are still fabulous people. There are still amazing, good, kind-hearted people who are willing to help. That at the same time, there are still monsters like the one that molested at a very young age. But we cannot let them win. She refused to let her abuser win. Her daughter, very, very beautiful. I've met the daughter. Is she there? Is she in school?
Oh, she's not here.
She's in school.
Yeah.
Very beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, very beautiful daughter. Doing extremely very well in school. So please, open up. It avails in her own word opportunity. She's so beautiful. She's going to finish her education. She's going to get an amazing, fabulous job. And she's going to find an amazing Prince Charming. Then she will look back. It's a story that she will tell the world. Please, let us all learn from Patricia's story and speak up. Patricia, any more things you want to say to me or to everybody watching you before I close the show?
To the young mothers, never you should start very early on sex education on your child. Like my daughter is 8 years old, but she knows every part of the male part of the body, the female part of the body. She knows everything. I call it by their names. I don't say, oh, this is your pee-pee. I said, oh, this is the penis, this is the vagina, this is the breast. I name it by their name. So should in case anything happens, should be able to say, oh, this person was trying to get his penis into her private part or any other part of the body that she's being abused or molested with. So I would want to encourage young mothers to always start sex education very early. Gone are those days that these monsters go for children who can speak. Now they go for babies. You go to the news, you see a 2-year-old being raped by a 50-year-old man, by a 60-year-old man. So such children most of the times don't even know what to do at that point in time. They don't know what is going on. They don't know what is going wrong with them. They don't know what is being done to them. So I would always tell young mothers, start early on child, as long as the child can speak. As long as the child is able to speak, start teaching them on sex education. Tell them what to do when they are being abused. Like my daughter, I would tell her, if you're being abused, first thing you do is to scream. Scream your lungs out. After screaming, you take off. at least people would hear you when you scream. People would hear you when you scream. If nobody hears you, run as fast as your legs can carry you. Just leave the situation. I did some little martial arts that I know, like how to save yourself. So I've taught her lessons on some martial arts. Like if the person is trying to get on you, target his penis. If you can give him a kick in the penis, if you can give him a hand in the penis, whatever you can do, just do it. Because I've noticed that when you hit it, it has this pain that comes with it.
Yeah.
So for the moment, he's going to hold on to it and take the opportunity. Then you take off, you run away. Do everything possible to save yourself first. So young mothers, sex education is very important for children. As long as they are able to hear and speak, sex education is very, very important. Then for teenage girls, for young teenage girls, your education should be your priority. For the main time, your education should be your priority. Even if you must go into relationship, because some young teenage girls, they must do it. No matter what you say, no matter what you try to advise them, they must do it. It's a norm. Even the society now sees it like a norm. Young teenage relationship has now been normalized. It's no longer seen as a crime like back then. when you see a 15-year-old girl in a relationship, people will be shouting, don't you know you're still a small girl? But now, you see 12 years old, 13 years old, in full-blown relationship. Like, they don't even talk about heartbreaks. Like, you're suffering from heartbreak at 13. Like, I don't understand.
At that age, you're not allowed to feel that way at that age.
And you're
Yes.
not allowed to feel that age, and you're not allowed to feel that way at that age. Even if you should be having heartbreaks, you should be from other things and not from a boy or whatever it is. So I would advise teenage girls to always look out for themselves. Give yourself that education first. Be fierce. Get your degrees. When you get your degrees, you know, oh, you have something to fall back on. You have something to hold on to. You don't allow anybody mess with you. You don't allow anybody, mess with your mind, because you are independent lady. You are classy, and you can get whatever you want when you have your money, when you have your degree to go with it. So my advice to young teenage girls is go after you first. It should be after you. Everything else aside that shouldn't be a priority. You should go after yourself. You should go after your heart. You should go after your self-growth, and everything should be about yourself at the moment. So that's my advice to young teenage girls. And to single ladies aspiring to be married, have something doing, like very, very important. Don't go into marriage thinking that, oh, your husband is rich, he's going to take care of you. Things will definitely go south. Things will definitely hit notes. You might end up becoming a widow within 2 years of marriage, and you don't have anything to hold on to. You don't have any source of income. You know the Nigerian system of making the woman suffer when she loses her husband. You probably lose everything. So when you don't have your own thing going on for you, that's how you start your world afresh again. So don't be caught. Don't be caught unwanted. Don't be caught in that manner. Make sure you have something doing as a young lady. Be independent before considering relationship. Talk less of marriage. So that is my advice to them. So
Thank,
that is all
thank
I'd have to say.
you. Yes,
Thank you so much for having me.
oh, thank you very much for coming, Patricia. Thank you for sharing your story. Your story has inspired someone out there. Your story has made a massive impact in someone's life. You never know when you're 7 years old. As I said, it started off, I was emotional hearing it. When I hear the story all over again, the emotion doesn't go away. But I'm glad you're in a better place. I also want to use this opportunity to appeal to you. Please, I am here. We are here. If there's anything that we can do, we'll be there to support you all the way.
Well,
You've come on our show 2 times. That's not the end. I'm gonna have you on my show when you graduate. I'm gonna have you on my
happy.
I'm gonna have you on my show when you get your first job. I will have you on my show when you're about to be married to your Prince Charming. I'll have you on my show when you buy your first house. I'll have you on my show when you buy your first car. Everything is nothing in this life is impossible. It all has to do with your mindset. If you believe, you shall achieve. If you believe, you shall accomplish. I love you very dearly in my heart. I love you.
Thank you. We love you
very
too.
much.
Thank you so much.
Please. Anyway, I've got your number. You know where I am. Please.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Send
I
me well
appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Send me well to your daughter.
Yes.
Send me well to your family members. I'm going to round up the show from my end. Get things ready. I'll give you a call in the next 1 hour. 1 hour. Is that all right?
All right. Yes,
all right
that's
then.
okay.
I love you very much, Patricia.
Thank you. We love you too. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hi everyone. Hello. We've just been hearing from Patricia, and we are done hearing from her, and that's the end of the show. Patricia concluded, what he said, when she come, he said, mother, teach your children the areas in their private part. Teach them what the private part is, different parts of the private, their bodies, what they should touch, when somebody touch it, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. So, please, mother, aunties, grandma, nannies, whoever, anywhere you are, help us. Let's identify these monsters and put them behind bars. Let's identify these monsters and put them behind bars. With voices together, we can make a difference. So I just want to thank you very much for joining me today on my talk show. Next week, on the next talk show, we're going to be looking at gender abuse. I will be having a male who have been domestically and who have gone through a lot of domestic violence. But then, in the meantime, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for viewing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on my YouTube channel. We are here to help. If you have any questions for Patricia, please leave a comment or email me at theangietalkshow@gmail.com. theangietalkshow@gmail.com. Please send me an email. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video, like. We are here to make a difference. As I said, I'm not here to lie, followers. I don't give a shit all about those things are not going to bring happiness or satisfaction to my life. All I want is helping people, helping the ones that deserve, that needs to be helped, and everyone deserves to be helped. Everybody who's going through a situation that thinks there is no way out deserves to hear me, deserves to watch this video, deserves to hear from Patricia. Again, I leave you with nothing but God's blessing, God's favors upon your life, and we will conquer. I love you. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching. Until we meet again, good night. Until we meet again, have a lovely, blessed, beautiful day. Above all, have a beautiful 2021. This year is going to be amazing. Thank you once again.